What if the reason you are losing muscle after 60 has nothing to do with aging itself? For decades, doctors have told us that weaker legs, thinner arms, and constant fatigue are just a natural part of getting older. But new research says otherwise. Over half of older adults in America are silently living with something called sarcopenia, a hidden form of muscle loss that creeps in so gradually you barely notice until simple tasks like standing up, climbing stairs, or opening a jar feel harder than they used to. This silent breakdown doesn't just steal your strength, it steals independence, energy, and confidence. Every year, thousands of seniors fall not because of bad balance, but because their muscles can no longer respond fast enough to protect them. It sounds frightening, but here's the good news. Muscle loss is not permanent. Your body still remembers how to build and repair muscle. It just needs the right signals to wake that system up again. Here's the surprising part. The trigger for that rebuilding process isn't exercise alone. It's food, more specifically, certain types of nuts. Studies from major universities and medical journals have shown that specific nutrients found in a handful of nuts can reactivate muscle protein synthesis, improve insulin sensitivity, and reduce inflammation faster than most supplements on the market. In this story, you'll discover 5 of the most powerful nuts for rebuilding muscle after 60. Each one works differently inside your body, targeting the key causes of muscle decline. They're ranked from least to most potent, and the number 1 nut might already be sitting in your pantry. Along the way, you'll hear real stories from seniors who regained strength, balance, and confidence by making small, consistent changes to what they ate. If you've ever felt your body growing weaker, even though you still eat well, stay tuned. The solution may be smaller, simpler, and more natural than you think, and it all begins with what's on your plate. Let's start where the science points first, with one of the smallest yet most powerful seeds of strength: Brazil nuts. If you've never thought of these oversized, oddly shaped nuts as a muscle-saving food, you're not alone. Most people have no idea that Brazil nuts contain the highest natural concentration of selenium found anywhere in nature. And for adults over 60, selenium may be the most overlooked nutrient when it comes to muscle health. Selenium plays a critical role in how your body builds and maintains muscle tissue. It acts as a switch that turns on muscle protein synthesis and supports thyroid hormone production, which regulates metabolism and energy levels. But when selenium levels drop, which they often do in older adults, your muscles start breaking down instead of rebuilding. This is due in part to a misfiring process called autophagy, where your body mistakenly starts digesting its own muscle tissue. Research from the University of Sao Paulo followed 178 adults over 60 and found that those with healthy selenium levels had 34% more muscle mass than those with deficiencies. Even more striking, selenium helped activate a muscle-protecting enzyme called glutathione peroxidase, a natural antioxidant that shields your muscle cells from oxidative stress, a major contributor to muscle wasting. But it's not just about science. Let me tell you about Robert, a retired carpenter from Ohio, 68 years old. His hands had lost the strength to grip his tools. His wife noticed that his arms were shrinking despite eating normally. When we tested his blood work, his selenium levels were far below optimal. We didn't prescribe a pill. We prescribed a habit: 2 Brazil nuts every morning, with his oatmeal and a bit of spinach on the side. 3 months later, Robert's grip strength had improved by over 40%. He gained 4 pounds of muscle and told me, with a tear in his eye, "I feel like I got a decade of my life back." Here's exactly how to use Brazil nuts if you're looking to follow Robert's path. All you need is 2 Brazil nuts per day, no more, no less. That's about 200 micrograms of selenium, the sweet spot for muscle protection. Eat them in the morning when your stomach acid is strongest, and ideally pair them with a source of vitamin E like leafy greens or sweet potatoes. This combination helps enhance muscle recovery and nutrient absorption. Just one warning: more is not better. Eating too many Brazil nuts can lead to selenium toxicity. Signs include metallic taste, garlic breath, or brittle nails. Also, avoid consuming them near iron supplements or iron-rich meals, as iron can interfere with selenium absorption. When you get this right, though, Brazil nuts can become the quiet strength behind your morning routine, helping your muscles rebuild while you go about your day. And now that we've covered the mineral of strength, It's time to move to the protein powerhouse that could be hiding in your snack drawer and how one nut holds the rare key to unlocking muscle growth at the cellular level. If Brazil nuts are the mineral spark that reignites muscle protection, then pistachios are the fuel that keeps the engine running. These vibrant green kernels are far more than a tasty snack. They hold something rare in the plant world: complete protein. Unlike most plant-based foods, pistachios contain all 9 essential amino acids your body needs to rebuild muscle. That's especially important after 60, because as we age, our bodies become less efficient at using incomplete proteins. You could be eating enough calories, even enough protein, but without the full spectrum of amino acids, your muscles simply do not respond the way they used to. What makes pistachios exceptional is their high leucine content. Leucine is the master key that activates a powerful cellular process called mTOR, the switch that tells your body to build muscle instead of breaking it down. Think of leucine like a foreman who shouts, "Start construction," to your muscle cells. Without it, even if all the materials are present, nothing gets built. Researchers at the University of Illinois studied older adults who consumed 30 grams of pistachios daily for 12 weeks. The result? A 28% increase in muscle protein synthesis without any change in exercise habits. That's the kind of number that catches your attention. But what makes the biggest difference is not just what you eat, it's how and when you eat it. Here's how to do it right. You need 49 pistachios per day, about 1 ounce. Split that into 2 servings. 25 pistachios mid-morning and 24 in the late afternoon. Why split them? Because muscle protein synthesis has a natural refractory period. It cannot stay elevated all day. By spacing your intake, you stimulate muscle growth twice instead of once. Combine your pistachios with a small source of vitamin C, such as orange slices or bell pepper strips. Vitamin C supports collagen formation and enhances the body's ability to absorb and use amino acids efficiently. But do avoid pairing pistachios with coffee or tea. The tannins in those drinks can bind to proteins and reduce their bioavailability. And if you're watching your blood pressure, be mindful of salted varieties. The sodium can cause water retention and mask muscle gains. Always choose unsalted or lightly salted pistachios when possible. I'll never forget Patricia, a retired teacher from Michigan, now 72. She came to see me after 2 falls in 6 months. Her daughter noticed her arms and legs were thinning, and she felt too weak to carry her groceries. A quick review of her meals showed very little protein. We added pistachios twice daily and included some gentle resistance training. Within 4 months, her balance tests had improved by 50%, and she gained 5 pounds of lean muscle. More importantly, she climbed stairs without using the railing, something she hadn't done in years. Now that you understand the power of plant-based protein, let's turn to another nut that does something no other nut can. Fight the silent inflammation that tears muscle apart from the inside out. By now, we've talked about how to feed your muscles the right minerals and proteins, but what if the real reason your muscles are breaking down isn't just a lack of building blocks, but something far more destructive hiding inside your body? That brings us to a powerful force you cannot see, but you can definitely feel: inflammation. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the most underestimated drivers of muscle loss after 60. Doctors even have a name for it: inflammaging. This slow, silent burn affects your joints, your energy, your immune system, and yes, your muscles. When inflammation levels are high, your body breaks down tissue faster than it can repair. And one of the strongest defenders against this hidden threat is the humble walnut. Walnuts are unique among nuts because they are rich in alpha-linolenic acid, ALA, a plant-based omega-3 fatty acid that plays a major role in reducing inflammation. While fatty fish like salmon often get the spotlight, many people forget that walnuts provide a vegan-friendly, accessible source of these crucial fats. In a study from Stanford University, adults over 60 who added walnuts to their diets reduced their C-reactive protein, CRP, a key marker of inflammation, by up to 45%. That's not just a number on a chart. That's a direct line to lower risk of muscle breakdown, better recovery, and improved insulin sensitivity in muscle cells. When your muscles respond better to insulin, they absorb nutrients more efficiently, giving them the fuel they need to grow. To harness these benefits, aim for 14 walnut halves per day. That's about 1 ounce. Split them in half, 7 halves with breakfast and 7 with dinner. This creates a steady stream of omega-3 seconds in your system throughout the day. But be careful, walnuts go rancid easily. Always store them in the fridge and never eat them if they smell like paint or taste bitter. That indicates oxidation, which can actually increase inflammation. One simple trick: soak your walnuts in water overnight and rinse them in the morning. This activation process removes natural enzyme inhibitors and makes their nutrients more bioavailable, meaning your body can use them more easily. For an added anti-inflammatory boost, pair your walnuts with berries like blueberries or blackberries. The anthocyanins in berries work synergistically with walnut omega-3 seconds to reduce muscle damage and support recovery. James, a 69-year-old former marathon runner from Oregon, came to me heartbroken. Once strong and full of energy, he now struggled to walk a few blocks without exhaustion. His lab tests showed sky-high inflammation markers. We introduced walnuts and tailored his meals around anti-inflammatory foods. Within 5 months, his CRP dropped from 8.2 to 2.1, and he gained back 7 pounds of muscle. Even better, he's now back to walking 3 miles every morning, like he used to. As powerful as walnuts are during the day, your muscles do some of their most important recovery work while you sleep. And for that, there's one nut that quietly prepares your body for deep overnight repair. While walnuts defend your muscles during the day, your body shifts gears at night, moving into repair mode. This is when your muscles rebuild, your hormones reset, and your energy quietly restores for the next day. But there's a catch. For many older adults, this vital overnight process never happens the way it should. Why? Because of one key missing ingredient: magnesium. And that brings us to the next essential nut in your muscle recovery journey: almonds. Almonds are best known for their crunch, but their real power lies deep inside in their incredibly high magnesium content. Just 1 ounce of almonds provides around 20% of your daily magnesium needs. This mineral is responsible for over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, but when it comes to muscles, it does 2 critical things. It helps muscles contract and relax properly, and it assists in transporting calcium and potassium, the very signals that tell your muscles when to move and when to rest. But here's what most people don't realize. Magnesium levels dip naturally at night, just when your body needs them most. That's why many older adults wake up with painful leg cramps, stiff arms, or a feeling of general fatigue, even if they got a full night's sleep. Magnesium deficiency is incredibly common after 60, and it often shows up not in blood work, but in symptoms like poor sleep, muscle weakness, and low recovery. A study published in the Journal of Nutrition found that older adults who regularly consumed almonds over 6 months gained an average of 2.3 pounds of muscle without any major changes in their lifestyle. The reason? The combination of magnesium and vitamin E in almonds supports nighttime repair by reducing oxidative stress and enhancing the activation of vitamin D, which plays a key role in maintaining strength. Here's how to use almonds strategically. Eat 12 almonds in the morning, preferably with a source of vitamin D like fortified milk or after 10 to 15 minutes of morning sun. Then, eat 11 more almonds about 2 hours before bed. This bedtime dose helps stabilize magnesium levels overnight, reducing the chance of muscle breakdown during sleep and improving the quality of your rest. Avoid chocolate-covered or honey-roasted almonds. The added sugar causes insulin spikes that interfere with muscle protein synthesis. Instead, go for raw or dry roasted almonds. If you have a sensitive stomach, try blanched almonds. The skins are removed, making them easier to digest. Let me introduce you to Margaret, a 74-year-old retired nurse from Arizona. She came to me frustrated and exhausted. Night after night, she was waking up with severe calf cramps, and her arms felt too weak to carry groceries. Blood tests showed her magnesium levels hovering at the very bottom of normal. We started the almond protocol, and within 2 months, the cramps were gone. 6 months in, she was climbing stairs, carrying groceries, and sleeping through the night. Now that we've rebuilt your strength during the day and repaired it overnight, it's time to meet the final nut, the one that rewires your muscles on a genetic level. We've nourished your muscles with minerals, complete proteins, anti-inflammatory compounds, and nighttime recovery tools. But what if you could go one step further beyond just feeding your muscles, to reprogramming them at the cellular level? That's exactly what the final nut on our list is capable of. Small, creamy, and often overlooked, Macadamia nuts are not just a luxury snack. They are a powerhouse of muscle gene activation, and they may be the most underrated tool in your fight against sarcopenia. Macadamia nuts contain the highest concentration of monounsaturated fats among all nuts, especially a fatty acid called oleic acid. This is the same heart-healthy fat found in olive oil, but when consumed in the right amounts, it does something extraordinary in aging muscles. Oleic acid helps alter the very structure of muscle cell membranes, making them more responsive to growth signals and more resistant to breakdown. In a groundbreaking study from Australian researchers, in adults over 65 who consumed macadamia nuts daily for 16 weeks gained an average of 3.7 pounds of lean muscle mass without changing their physical activity levels. Scientists believe this happened because the nutrients in macadamias triggered gene expressions that promote muscle building and suppressed those linked to muscle wasting. This is not just theory, I've seen it firsthand. George, a 70-year-old retired engineer from North Carolina, came to me in a state of quiet frustration. He had lost over 15 pounds of muscle in 2 years, and simple activities like standing up from a chair or getting out of bed had become a struggle. His doctor had labeled him pre-frail. George wasn't ready to accept that. So we introduced a specific macadamia protocol, along with a nutrient-dense diet. 4 months later, he had gained back 11 pounds of muscle and was back to playing 9 holes of golf twice a week without needing help to carry his clubs. So how do you do it right? Start with 10 to 12 macadamia nuts per day, about 1 ounce total. Divide the portion between late morning and early afternoon. Avoid eating macadamias in the evening. Their high fat content can interfere with overnight muscle repair and digestion. To enhance their effect, pair them with a small amount of carbohydrate, like half an apple or a few grapes. This gentle insulin response helps shuttle those healthy fats directly into muscle cells, where they can begin changing the way your muscle tissue behaves. Choose dry roasted, unsalted macadamias and store them in the refrigerator to prevent the delicate oils from oxidizing. One caution: avoid chocolate-covered or cookie-coated varieties. These processed versions are loaded with sugar and hydrogenated oils that can undo all the benefits by increasing inflammation. When eaten properly, macadamia nuts act like a reset button for your muscle cells, reminding them how to grow, recover, and thrive. And now that you know the 5 most powerful muscle rebuilding nuts, it's time to bring it all together into one simple daily plan you can start using today. You now know the 5 most powerful muscle rebuilding nuts, each with its own purpose, timing, and unique strength. But knowledge alone isn't enough. What turns this information into real results is how you put it into practice. And that's where your daily rhythm, your anabolic clock, comes in. Your body doesn't build muscle all at once. It happens in waves, triggered by nutrients, movement, rest, and hormone cycles throughout the day. When you align the right food with the right moment, you create a consistent pattern of muscle preservation and growth without needing to overhaul your lifestyle. Here's how to do it. Morning. Start your day with 2 Brazil nuts at breakfast. Pair them with a complete protein like eggs or Greek yogurt, and some spinach or sweet potato for vitamin E. This combination supports muscle protection and kickstarts protein synthesis when your digestion is most active. About 30 minutes later, have 12 almonds with a glass of fortified plant milk or after a short walk in the sun. This helps activate vitamin D and prepares your muscles for the day ahead. Late morning, around 10:30 a.m., enjoy 5 to 6 macadamia nuts with half an apple. This is when your natural growth hormone levels are still elevated, making it the perfect window for muscle-enhancing fats. After lunch, eat 25 pistachios, not with your meal, but at least 30 minutes later. This gives your muscles a second chance to build without competing with digestion of other foods. Mid-afternoon, repeat your macadamia serving with a few grapes. This prevents the afternoon energy dip and keeps your muscles in a fed state. Evening. At dinner, include 7 walnut halves in a salad with berries and leafy greens. Then, an hour later, have 24 more pistachios. Before bed, 2 hours before sleep, finish with 11 almonds, the quiet guardians of your overnight recovery. Now that you have a clear and simple daily plan, there's one more thing to understand, and it might be the most important of all. This journey is not just about building muscle. It's about reclaiming the parts of yourself that aging tries to take away. Your confidence, your independence, your joy in movement. So let's take a final look at the 5 powerhouse nuts and how they work together. Brazil nuts protect your muscles at the cellular level with selenium, the mineral most older adults are missing without even knowing it. Pistachios give your muscles the complete protein and leucine needed to start growing again, not once, but twice a day. Walnuts fight the silent fire of inflammation, keeping your muscles safe from breakdown and helping them absorb nutrients more efficiently. Almonds repair and restore overnight, calming cramps, strengthening your sleep, and preparing your muscles for the next day. Macadamias do what few foods can: flip genetic switches that activate growth and suppress muscle loss, rebuilding from the inside out. Individually, they each make a difference, but together, they create a daily rhythm of strength, a kind of quiet, steady power that grows with time. Maybe you've been told that after 60, muscle loss is inevitable. That weakness is just part of getting older. But the truth is, it's never too late to nourish your body in the ways it truly needs. This is not a crash diet, not a fitness trend. It is a return to what your body has been waiting for all along: real food, used with wisdom. Start small. Pick 1 or 2 nuts from this list and make them a part of your daily routine. You do not have to do it all at once. Progress begins with consistency, not perfection. And now, I want to hear from you. Have you tried adding any of these nuts to your day? Have you noticed a difference in your energy, strength, or sleep? Share your experience in the comments. Someone else might need exactly your story to get started. Because your muscles may be aging, but they are still listening.